We all know financial accounting can be quite difficult, so today's video aims to simplify that for you by explaining a crucial skill of how to analyze accounts receivable. So here's just a quick overview of the three main aspects that are going to be covered in this video. They are horizontal and vertical analysis, receivables turnover ratio, and the allowance ratio. Before we begin, what are accounts receivable? As we all know, a receivable is a sale that's been made but yet to be collected. Basically, a company would have provided a customer with a good or service but has not been paid for it. In order to be deemed successful, companies must manage their number of accounts receivables to be relatively low, but of course that isn't always the case. So we analyze the number of accounts receivable to determine the relative success or need for improvement within a company. To start off with, we'll quickly recap what horizontal and vertical analysis are. Horizontal analysis demonstrates the changes in a company's account balance over time. To calculate this, the dollar change in account balance is first calculated by subtracting the prior year balance from that of the current year. That amount is then divided by the prior year balance to yield the percentage change in account balance. In the analysis of receivables, the account used is of course the accounts receivable. A lower percentage would be preferable as it represents a smaller number of accounts receivable. Vertical analysis allows for the comparison across a company's account balances over 1 year. To calculate this through the lens of analyzing receivables, we divide the accounts receivable balance by the total assets to yield a percentage. This percentage determines the amount of recorded assets that are comprised of accounts receivable. As with horizontal analysis, it is ideal if this percentage is low and decreases from year to year, indicating a reduction in accounts receivable. So now that we've covered horizontal and vertical analysis, let's move on to the receivables turnover ratio. This ratio allows companies to analyze their receivables by comparing them to their credit sales to determine their ability to generate and collect receivables over a specific period of time. Using the formula displayed, we determine the ratio. The higher this percentage, the better for companies, as it indicates that while they generate receivables, they're able to have them quickly turned over. However, as the number of credit sales is not always clear, the analysis can get quite confusing. So we use the days in receivables ratio as it converts the above ratio into days, providing a clearer description of a company's ability to turn over receivables. Finally, let's look at the allowance ratio. This ratio allows for a prediction of the percentage receivables that are assumed will not be repaid through a comparison of the accounts receivables and allowance accounts. Calculated using the formula on the screen, this ratio allows us to determine a company's ability to manage their receivables. As a higher ratio would indicate a larger number of receivables to be uncollectible, companies would benefit from it being as low as possible.
So in summary, there are three main ways to analyze receivables, being horizontal and vertical analysis, receivables turnover ratio, and the allowance ratio.